Hello and welcome back to Checkpoint on Campus. I am your host, Jacob Brothers, and we are joined by a special guest, another new face. We have two new faces today. We are joined by Jose Ruiz. Jose, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. As it turns out, esports are expensive. So we have you on the show
Yeah.
to kind of talk to us about that.
Yeah, so just kind of to elaborate on esports, I know firsthand just kind of growing up how expensive they can be. Uh, but like just get into it. It's like let's say you want to get into PC or console gaming. There's like those two basic routes that you could go with. So like with a PC, basically costs kind of start out from like 600 to like even $3,000 right off the bat because you need something that will let you get into like be able to have those fast processing speeds, be able to actually do those basic functions. And then when you get into console gaming, those costs can kind of vary as well. And then you obviously have those extra costs that come later on. Once you actually start gaming, you have to get more games. You actually have to do some investment into your equipment just to keep it recent, like with the times. And so with that, there's like a lot of expenses, and you would say, well, do the pros really outweigh the cons? Like, what pros are there to kind of compensate with all those expenses that goes into it? Because college is expensive, and a lot of college students have esports as a hobby, as a way to like actually kind of distract themselves from their studies. And so when it comes to pros, there's a lot of things that actually kind of benefit the average college esports player. There's mental health respite because after days and days going through classes and actually working jobs and doing all of the stuff that is the daily college life, esports can be a way to actually kind of provide relief for the day-to-day tasks that you often are overwhelmed by. And so like I would say like even I think I've seen some studies that say that even just 20 minutes of just resting and just playing online with friends on the community actually help kind of reset your mind and make it easier for you to get back into the regular routines of college life.
Right.
And
But
there's
so
also the social
here's a
interactions.
question I have for you, Jose, not to cut you off.
Yeah.
So when I think of expenses, and PC is obviously like the biggest one, your giant PC tower. The other big thing with computers is the appliances that you have going with it, with your keyboards and your
Yeah.
mouses. So do you think at the collegiate level that kind of being bougie on that stuff is important? Or do you think it just, if you have a basic mouse, you have a basic keyboard, that's not really something that you should be worrying about as far as your funds?
Well, I think that obviously there's people have different preferences, and like there's going to be people that want to kind of go all out with their appliances. There's like mouses that are like $200, keyboards that $200, $300. But I think if you have the basics and they function well, there's like mouses and keyboard sets that come like at $100 that you can get, and that will work just fine, I think. And it shouldn't be a problem for someone that just wants to get into esports and it's in there with like a budget.
Right.
But obviously, there's going to be people on the different end of it.
Yeah, when I think of
Sorry.
appliances, also because it also extends to consoles, to where like there's like the SCUF controllers and there's the controllers with the pads and the
Okay.
Xbox Pro. Do you think that those would maybe be more useful for console players? Because I realize, because like a mouse is a mouse. Like I have an MMO mouse because I use all my buttons, but that's like a preference thing. But when you're playing an esport with a controller, having those extra buttons might be an actual advantage. So do you think like maybe for that particular kind of area of esports, that would be like a worthwhile investment?
Yeah, I think both sides of it have like a lot of appliances or stuff that kind of add to the experience of it, kind of make it easier for play. When you have a console, you obviously have those different additional features to it that makes it easier for a certain person to be playing through a game, kind of like Overwatch or like League of Legends, anything in like of that sort. And I think it's just again based off preference. You may find it easier if you have those things to help you out. And I think just having the basics is obviously just the most important out of it too.
Right. Yeah. So I think as far as PC gaming goes, if you're going to be an esport player in the collegiate space, your most important things are going to be your tower and your monitor. So if you're going to spend a lot of money on something to enter the scene, if your esport lab hasn't already provided it, which is already kind of the more common avenue now, if you're trying to get into esports, when you have the 144 hertz, that actually makes a difference, and when you have the PC tower that can output the right thing or the right quality, it makes all the difference. So Jose, thank you for coming on to talk about finances. And gamers, if you're going to spend money, that's where you should spend it.